Uh, Very good. And we are live. Welcome, everybody. Today is September 17th of 2025. This is SIG API Machinery for Kubernetes Open Source, our bi-weekly meeting. In the southern hemisphere, the spring is about to start, and here in the northern hemisphere, the cold is coming, winter is coming, so fall is about to start. You can see the changes of colors. So I hope you are also enjoying the changes of seasons. We have a couple of topics today, so I don't want to keep doing introductions. So let's go with the first one, which is Aaron, I believe, and the logistics announcement of the subproject.
Yeah, for sure. No, thanks. Yeah. So I just wanted to announce that there's a new subproject meeting. So I think a couple meetings ago I mentioned this workgroup API expression. It was mentioned that a subproject meeting is a better fit for that. So if folks were at that meeting, essentially there will be a meeting related to declarative APIs and linters. So there's a handful of subprojects. I've identified them there from the community page. But kind of this Idl-schema-client-pipeline and kube-api-linter are two of the notable subprojects. And this top item has essentially an ongoing project called declarative validation, where we are attempting to take the validation logic in Kubernetes and make it so you can use declarative tags to kind of standardize validation best practices, and also have kind of a point so that CRDs and native types can eventually have a unified way of doing validations. And it also kind of serves as a place of discussion so that something like immutability or ratcheting, which is maybe independently implemented across the API, we can standardize on a de facto way of doing that and pattern, and then use that codified pattern across Kubernetes. So these are the types of discussions. I've kind of identified some here, but just quickly, discussing essentially the declarative validation and try to do some call to action items with folks there, codifying these validation best practices and API best practices, discussing essentially the migration strategy broadly. We have some tags currently, what those could look like. So if you want to be part of those discussions, how we can migrate the tags there. And also there's a number of projects, KubeBuilder has tags, control agendas, Kube-api-linter. How can we all kind of interface, bring the best ideas from all these places and unify to have tags kind of using all these places and more declarative APIs. And then the end goals is to kind of just, they're noted here, but simplify API development, make reviewing easier, and just kind of unify the experience. So if anything interests you there, please join this meeting. So that's next Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Very good.
Great.
Is there any questions? Aaron, this was going to, initially you proposed a working group and now changed to a sub-project. Is there anything you wanted to say there?
Yeah, I think it's just a better fit as the work group has like a natural wind down point, but these are already existing projects. So that was the migration, but it shouldn't affect, realistically, we just want a place to discuss this and kind of get those best practices there. But that's the reason for the change, if anyone's interested.
That's great. And in my monitor, your window is right next to mine, and we are both Cube API Machinery. I was thinking on the meme of Spider-Man pointing to Spider-Man. We should put that. Very good. Thank you so much, Aaron. So if you're interested, please take note of the meetings. Sorry, maybe you said it and I was distracted looking for our session at KubeCon, but how do people get the invite? Do they need to join a specific mailing list, or you are going to send an invite to the entire API Machinery group?
I have a doc there. It's this meeting at 9 a.m. PST on Tuesday, but yeah, I'll send out information also, just like how this agenda is sent out.
Okay.
Is the idea there.
As a SIG chair, I get a lot of times the same question. How do I get an invite to the meeting? And in the case of the SIG, just joining the mailing list. So I don't know if the mechanism is the same or is different.
I believe I would double check. I'm still discussing with Ben, but yeah, my understanding is the same by
Okay.
email. Oh, yeah, Joe.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Aaron for getting this set up. I think this is really useful, and Joel as well for all the Kube-api-linter stuff. these are really good areas if you've wanted to get involved in API machinery but haven't found. API machinery can have some pretty difficult areas. This, I think, is fairly tractable. So if you're interested in getting involved in API machinery, learning more about how APIs are developed, I think this is a really good starting point. Just wanted to add that. Thanks.
Very good. With that, thank you, Aaron, echoing what Joe has said. Richa, you're next.
Hi. Yes. So I also wanted to have this sort of an announcement and also a request for review and feedback for my intention to start working again on the open enhancement issue for unknown version interoperability proxy, which we have renamed to mixed version proxy. But this still refers to, like, the feature gate is still called unknown version interoperability proxy. Just some back context there. So that was introduced as an alpha feature in 128, and then since then we've come a long way. Now, I think one of the pending requirements for this feature to go to beta was implementing merged discovery. So a little background on what this feature was about. It was trying to route an API request in a HA cluster to the right API, to the right API server, which is capable of serving that request. It can happen in an HA cluster, especially when the cluster is undergoing an upgrade or a downgrade, that the API servers exist at different versions. And so we wanted to have a guaranteed way of handling a resource request by routing that to the correct API server in such a setting. So this routing logic was implemented in alpha, but one of the pending requirements was also updating the discovery to report this collective set of resources that are being served across the cluster by all the API servers that exist in the cluster. So for that, I have included a link to the SCEP update, which has details about how we are thinking of implementing this. There's also a POC linked, which is still in progress. There is some failing tests and open questions that I'm trying to address. But I just wanted to share all of these links for folks to share opinions and thoughts on, especially early in the release cycle. This is touching discovery, so I guess this is something major that's gonna come. Albeit this is still gonna stay in alpha as planned so far, even in 135. But yeah, would be great if folks could take a look at it and share feedback. Just wanted to also share a little background on how we are thinking of implementing this. So for the routing logic for UWIP/MVP, we had initially used storage version API to find out which resources are being served by which API server. And then eventually we replaced the storage version API with making direct discovery calls to the peer API servers. Those peer API servers were identified by their identity leases. And anytime we would find that a new identity lease had joined a cluster, then we would do an aggregate discovery call for that peer, and then put all of this information in memory cache. So basically, before this enhancement today for UWIP, we already have this cache which has the discovery response from all of the peers that exist in the cluster. So we are just going to reuse that cache to construct this pure merged discovery doc to serve the merge discovery. One thing is that we're not introducing any new endpoints for discovery. We're going to be still using the existing API and APIs endpoint, but we're going to introduce a new accept header. This accept header will be for a profile which a client can request an unmerged discovery for. This unmerged discovery will be needed to actually construct the cache which will hold, the local view of the discovery from the pure API servers. So that is one of the things that I wanted to note. And yeah, for more details, you can refer to the CAP and the POC PR. I've also had rounds of discussion Joe and Jeffrey. So if you want to add anything to that, but there's already hands raised, so we can go to those. I'm not sure who was first.
I think I was first. You might have just answered my question. I was going to say aggregated discovery, if I'm remembering correctly, was Jeffrey and Alex. I wanted to be sure that you gave them both a shot at review.
Oh yeah, I'm troubling them a lot recently for reviews.
That is great. And then the idea of emerged discovery, now that we have aggregated discovery, I think at its core, the idea makes sense.
Joe?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say yes. I've had a look. I'm pretty happy with the approach. Jordan's also had a look. We were knitting over some specifics of how, what the RESTful HTTP representation of things are, but I think it's otherwise pretty good. I'm glad we're using discovery for this. I do feel bad that we're leaving behind the storage version API, but I actually think this is the better API to be using here anyways. And I think it makes this API better. So I'm happy with the approach.
Yeah, and the way that I've been able to verify the POC is that I've included an integration test, which verifies that if you have an API server which has a certain resource disabled, then its discovery response is still able to get that resource listed in the discovery doc if the feature gate is enabled.
Also, thank you for getting KEPs out early before the swarm of KEP requests. Really appreciate it. If anybody else has KEPs and wants to do the same, please do.
Richard, did you say that the plan for 135 is to keep it alpha for now, making this implementation change and keep it in alpha?
I think I feel more comfortable with that, but I will be curious to hear other people's thoughts too, because this is some major chunk of functionality that we're introducing. And so directly taking this to beta, I don't know how I feel about that. I was thinking that maybe once we have the merge discovery implementation in, have it for alpha for a release, and then in the next release, try to promote it to beta. But that's just my thought.
I like the idea of doing development in alpha, doing big changes in alpha, and then when things feel ready, taking it to beta is a very stable thing. I think that's aligned with a lot of work that David and others, SIG architecture, have done to try and make sure that betas are really stable.
I agree with that.
Very good. Any more comments on this one? Please take a look. Okay, thank you, Richard. Very good. I think we are coming short today, and it's great because we get some time back. I wanted to mention two more things. One is that if you didn't see it, there is going to be a great SIG API Machinery maintainers track on KubeCon North America. Okay, of course, the link didn't work, but if I look for David. Yes, this one, SIG API Machinery and Artificial Intelligence, what comes next? So with that catchy title, we hope to get a lot of attention. So Joe and David are going to be covering some of the ideas we've been discussing about the things that we could do from API Machinery point of view to make Kubernetes keep evolving to be easier to run this type of workloads and looking for the future. So take a look to that. And if nothing else, I just wanted to mention something that most of you may have known, that our colleague and friend for many of us, Han, passed away a couple of weeks ago. There were multiple announcements. There is this link to put something to remember him for, the duration of time or the duration of GitHub. Somebody said in one of my conversations that maybe his family or his kid, who are very young today, in some years will want to see what people, how people related to Han and the impact that Han had in their lives, right? He was a very prolific contributor, including SIG API Machinery, SIG instrumentation, and many places around Kubernetes. He didn't care a lot about boundaries or which repo is this one. He just wanted to make things better and help people along the way. So he was a good friend of mine too. I don't want to get sentimental. I've been through that. Just wanted to mention this. I thought that for somebody that was in these meetings many times, if you look at recordings of the past, we should at least mention him. Yeah, and that's all I have for today. I don't know if anybody else wants to add something. Otherwise, we adjourn this meeting. Sounds good. Very good. It's great to see you. You're getting closer to KubeCon, so hopefully we can meet a couple of times before we can also hopefully meet in person soon. Thank you for coming and see you next time.
Yep.